Our meeting to order. First up this evening is the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please stand and face the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. First up this evening, we have a few proclamations. The first this evening is the Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas children are vital to Jackson County's future prosperity and quality of life. And whereas all children deserve to have safe, stable, nurturing, and healthy homes and communities that foster well-being. And whereas child abuse and neglect is a public responsibility affecting both the current and future quality of life in Jackson County. And whereas to prevent child abuse, parents need support and resources to help cope with stress and nurture their children to grow to their full potential. And whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed through partnerships created among citizens, human services agencies, schools, faith communities, healthcare providers, civic organizations, children's advocacy centers, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas Jackson County is committed to preventing child abuse and calls upon its citizens from all walks of life to increase their participation in efforts to support families and thereby prevent child abuse and strengthen communities. Now, therefore, the Jackson County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Jackson County and commends its observance to all citizens. Is there a motion for child abuse prevention?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
In a second? This evening we have Crystal Jones from Awake. She's the executive director. She's going to accept this for us.
Look this way, keep looking. Thank you. Well, touch your hand. Like you like each other, yes. You're good in the back. I can see you guys. I surely can.
Thank you.
Oop.
I don't have to think about how to work that thing sometimes.
All right, I've got a podium here, so we're gonna hit your face. That's okay. You guys are okay? Everybody's in this. Try to keep looking this way. Take a few. One more. Here you go. Keep looking. Stay with me real quick. Oh. There it is. That's okay.
All right.
No, you're fine.
Maybe you can wipe that out or something. I just want to say thanks to everybody that's standing up here and the ones that are supporting us from where they're at. Thank you to the Jackson County Commissioners. Thank you to Jackson County as well. Awake has been in existence since 1993, which is a long time ago. But over that period of time, we've been able to partner with our collaborative partners with law enforcement, VSS, and courts, and numerous other entities, and help over 1,500 children begin their journey to healing. And so we're really proud of that. It is a somber moment when we talk about child abuse, but at the same time, we know if they're coming, they're getting help. And so thank you to all of you guys to support children. We appreciate it.
Next up this evening is a proclamation for Line Worker Appreciation Day, which is April 18th. Whereas on April 10th, 2013, a resolution was passed by the United States Senate to recognize April 18th annually as the National Line Worker Appreciation Day. And whereas the profession of electrical line worker is steeped in personal, family, and professional tradition, and whereas line workers are often the first responders during storms and other catastrophic events, working to make the scene safe for other public safety officials and to expedite the return of vital electric power to our communities. And whereas these brave men and women work with thousands of volts of electricity high atop power lines 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, risking and sometimes losing their lives to keep electricity flowing. And whereas line workers are often faced with dangerous conditions far from their families as they work to construct and maintain energy infrastructure throughout the state of North Carolina and the United States. And whereas line workers must use their technical knowledge, physical strength, and ingenuity to achieve success in challenges they face every day. Whereas the Board of Commissioners thanks these skilled and heroic line workers who brave hurricanes, ice storms, snowstorms, floods, and other natural disasters to maintain our community's energy grid. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Jackson County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims April 18th, 2026 as Line Worker Appreciation Day in Jackson County. Is there a motion to approve this proclamation? And a second?
Second.
All in favor? None opposed. We've got Lisa Leatherman here, who is the district manager for Duke Energy Carolinas.
Thank you, Mark, but the linemen are here to accept the
You
proclamation.
want them all.
Thank you. Sorry, Chairman, I should have called you.
No.
Chair. Sorry.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. Warm, cold, and everything else in between. Come on in a minute.
No.
All right. Lastly, this evening is Proclamation for Public Health Week, which is April 6th through 12th. Whereas the week of April 6, 2026 is National Public Health Week with the theme Ready, Set, Action, recognizing the importance of public health efforts, scientific discoveries, legislation, and community initiatives in improving health of all Americans. And whereas significant progress has been made in public health since the inception of National Public Health Week in 1994, resulting in reductions in childhood mortality, smoking rates, HIV/AIDS related deaths, and lead poisoning, along with improved access to mental health care, enhanced pandemic preparedness, and increased actions to address health impacts of climate change. And whereas health outcomes still vary across communities due to differences in social, environmental, and economic conditions, and racial and ethnic minority populations continue to experience disparities in health. And whereas National Public Health Week provides an opportunity to educate policymakers, health professionals, and the public on the ways to prevent disease, promote wellness, and strengthen community resilience. And whereas public health professionals work to help communities prevent, prepare for, and respond to a full range of health threats from infectious disease outbreaks to natural disasters. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Jackson County proclaims April 6th through 12th, 2026 as the National Health Week in Jackson County. We encourage residents to recognize the contributions of scientists, public health workers, and community leaders, and to support initiatives that promote health, prevent disease, and help enhance the well-being of all citizens in the spirit of the theme, Ready, Set, Action. Is there a motion to approve this proclamation?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? This evening we have Anna Lipper, the Health Director, here to accept this proclamation.
And staff.
And staff.
Come on, we'll get real cozy. Get your focus on. Get in there, Bob.
I like the way you've done that. That's good. Look this way. Look this way. All right, this camera here.
Next up on this evening's is approval of the agenda. If there are no needs for any amendments to this agenda, I'll seek a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Next, we have our minutes from March 10th and March 17th. If everyone's had a chance to review those and there's no need for any kind of adjustments, I'll seek a motion for approval of both sets.
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Moving on now to chairman or administrative reports. Just a quick reminder that Greening Up the Mountains is April 25th. I saw an email about that the other day. So anyone that's wanting to show up and enjoy a little bit of downtown Silva, that is the date. Any other commissioner reports this evening?
Hope everyone had a happy Easter.
Yep.
Looking forward to spring myself.
Yes.
And I don't know who and all went to Randy Cave's retirement for the grounds maintenance, but he retired a couple of weeks ago, and that was really nice. And again, those guys cook very well, and ladies, they cook very well over there. I really highly consider they open up a restaurant.
I do want to thank the folks that are just here for the all three of the proclamations. Very important, all three of them. They do a lot for our community.
If there's no other reports this evening, I'll turn it over to County Manager Kevin King for his report.
First thing is we did have a new website that was launched a week ago on Monday, and everything at this point is working as expected. So now all the departments have the ability to update that kind of on the fly, where they keep the public informed of everything current that's happening. But we're excited about that, and everything is, like I say, working pretty good. If anybody here that has any negative, give me a call. We'll take care of it. The groundbreaking for the administration building is going to happen on the 21st at 3 o'clock. It'll be our next meeting date. So it's at 3 o'clock. It'll be on site. You'll be seeing stuff happening in the next week. There'll be Vanoy will be moving in next Tuesday on the 14th. So you'll see a lot of things after that happening. And then the final thing, you know, and it's been kind of in the news, and Chris is here tonight with for here, but I did just want to let you know that the last quarter of the appropriation for this year has been frozen for the HERE program. Just want to make that public. Administratively, it's been frozen until further investigation. So, any other questions?
I just think this ought to be a wake-up call to all the nonprofits. Nobody's immune. And if you're doing wrong, we're coming after you.
Next up this evening, we have informal comments by the public. Just a reminder that the limits for public comment are 3 minutes. We're not going to answer any questions. There is a timer on the little screen on the podium. So with that, first up this evening, we have John Herrera. John?
Hey, y'all. Hello, I'm John Herrera. I'm here to ask for your consideration for the upcoming library board, the Jackson County Library Board. I am aware that the cutoff date is at the end of April, at the end of this month. However, I am a firm believer that the early bird gets the worm, and I really want that worm right now. I submitted the application today and my resume prior to the Easter holiday. I do have a felony. I hope that does not automatically disqualify me. I am only considered rehabilitated thanks to my community and a library card. I became a thriving member of the community after my release, obtaining 2 degrees, and while incarcerated, assisting 31 men to get their GEDs. I would like to serve on the Jackson County Library Board. I want to be there. I have a lot to offer. And thank you for your time and consideration.
Next up, excuse me. Next up this evening, we have Rebecca Herbers. Ms. Herbers.
Hello. I wanted to share a community member's prestigious award recently bestowed upon her. Tracy Fitzmaurice, former Fontana Regional Library Director and Jackson County Public Library Director, has been chosen as one of 10 recipients of the 2026 I Love My Librarian Award. Nominated by a large number of community members, she was selected from 1,300 nominees nationwide for her years of dedication, kindness, and inclusivity, which has deeply impacted our community. The award is presented to 10 librarians every year and is sponsored by the American Library Association, the Carnegie Corporation of New York, and the New York Public Library. We wish Tracy well for this very, very best wishes for this well-deserved honor. In developing a new library board, I would like to see written criteria and qualifications to serve as a board member. Minimally, a person should have a library card and a working knowledge of the library system. I would like it to be clear that serving the library is a nonpartisan position and political affiliation is not relevant. Thank you.
With no one else signed up for public comment this evening, we'll move on now to new business. And first up this evening is the annual child fatality prevention team report, and Ms. Lippert from the health department is here to present.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here tonight to present the 2025 Annual Report for the Child Fatality Prevention Team. Our team's required to share this report with your board as well as the Board of Health and Social Services Board each year. No action is required this evening. This presentation is for informational purposes only. Over the past couple of years, the North Carolina Child Fatality Prevention System has undergone some changes due to legislation law. One of the notable updates is the mandatory requirement to report all child fatalities into the national reporting system. And that's something our team is still in process of learning and adapting to this new system. It's quite a change from our paper copies that we previously used. Our local team reviews deaths of children under 18 in Jackson County. We look at medical examiners' reports and other records to better understand what led to each of these deaths. And based on what we learned, the team makes recommendation and proposes changes in services or resources to help prevent future child deaths. We have a multidisciplinary team that has law enforcement, social services, health department, the district attorney's office, AWAKE, VIA, a medical examiner, among others. I co-chair this team with Chris Weatherford, our DSS director. I won't go through the entire report because you can read that. But note, in 2025, there were 4 child fatalities that were identified for our review. Of those, our team reviewed 1 case. That was because 2 cases are still pending, and therefore we have to wait for those to be finalized to review. And then 1 case was classified as non-mandatory under the new state statute. For the 1 case that we did review, the team did not identify any system issues, and therefore no recommendations or actions are proposed at this time. I understand that child death is a difficult topic to talk about, but these conversations are essential. It's an opportunity for us to learn from each one and identify opportunities for improvement and work together to prevent future tragedies for families in Jackson County. Although no system issues were identified for this year, the continued efforts of this team and our community help ensure we're doing everything possible to keep children in Jackson County safe. Also, the report includes some highlights of our team's activities and accomplishments over the past year. We're able to carry out this work because we have a Safe Kids of Jackson County Coalition. As you can see in the report, Safe Kids had another really active year. They participated as a group in more than 50 community events reaching more than 6,000 residents. Some of the key focus areas include water safety, child passenger safety, medication safety, bicycle safety, and firearms safety. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the team or this report.
Great that we only had 4 to, when you think about the total population, that's a
Yeah.
small amount, but it's great.
We're very fortunate that we have a small number of child deaths in Jackson County. Not all of my peers can say the same. So, yeah, I don't, and we'll see if, hopefully the 2 that we're waiting on that are pending will finalize, because we can't review anything without the medical examiner's reports or if there's any active investigations. So,
Thank you for all.
Thank you very much for all you do.
thank you. And thank you for your time this evening.
Next up this evening, we have offer to purchase and contract for 1 acre off of Singing Ridge and Resolution R2603. And Ms. Tucker.
Good evening, Commissioners, Chairman. We do have an offer to purchase, $1,000. It's 1 acre off of Pumpkin Town Road. It's almost to the Macon County line. There's really nothing that we could use it for. So if y'all are okay with approving this gentleman, we'll start the 10-day upbid process.
Any questions for Ms. Tucker? Not, I'll seek a motion for approval of this offer to purchase. And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Thank you, Ms. Tucker.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
All right, next up this evening, we have a lease agreement for 26 Ridgeway Street. And Mr. Kimball.
So this is a lease for the current facility that's occupied by the Employment Security Commission. They're requesting a 3-year lease. Normally they have just requested a 1 year, which I've been signing off on. But since they requested a 3-year, needs board approval. And basically this is like a maintenance of effort site. We don't, or maintenance of effort for the state to have a center here. And so we provide the space. It's 1,500 square foot located at 26 Ridgeway Street in Silva. And just for your consideration for a 3-year lease. So.
Questions for Mr. King? Not, I'll seek a motion. And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on now. Any questions from the press? Okay. We do have a need to go into closed session tonight for real property and legal. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. We are in closed session. taken in closed session. With no further business this evening in our normal session, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. We are adjourned. I'd like to go ahead and call our work session to order. First up this evening, we have Brian Chamberlain, who is the president and treasurer of Christmas Connection. Good evening, Brian.
Okay, I don't necessarily have a presentation per se. I have some pertinent information in a handout for everybody. And our program really doesn't change much from year to year.
Thank you.
Other than, the number of participants, and we try to provide additional services and resources available. So that hasn't happened for a little while, not since COVID anyway.
Thank you.
So the main shot of it, the first page is basically a description of the program where that describes the families that we help, the Medicaid and EBT families. And then it gives you a list of our referral sources, mainly the Department of Social Services. And we hand forms out. We consider it a parent partnership. They fill it out. They give it to us. We fill it out. They come do a review, have a chance to do exchanges. They pick up what we call the extras that are listed at the bottom there. And then they get wrapping paper and go home and wrap it themselves. So that way we make sure they don't get duplicate gifts, nothing's inappropriate, that kind of thing. And then the second page is more of the program costs and how it works. And this one change that we're going to have is the costs have gone up. We ran into a bit of an issue last year. We said $75 per child, but it was probably higher than that because of the cost of inflation. So we just changed ours to be about 90, and that's what we're promoting to any sponsors that we have. And then our list of children helped that year, along with the costs, the estimated costs for that. And so we based it on the $90 because that's probably closer to what we spent per child. Especially if you look at all the extras they get, the hats and gloves and all that stuff. So at this point, it's basically what questions might you have about the program that.
Questions?
I'd just like to say thank you
Yeah.
for what you do. You just do a lot for the
Big
kids
impact.
and stuff.
Yeah.
One question maybe for Darlene. What did y'all request last year? What was
10,000.
it 10,000? So you're requesting that again, is that correct? 10,000?
Yeah, that's the request this year again. It's a repeat. We don't have to have storage this year
Yeah,
because
is that
Harris
last year?
Regional / Duke Life Point has graciously provided the space for us to just leave the stuff there.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to pack it up and move it and do all that stuff and pay for storage. So we have no storage and moving costs.
That was year before when we had some
A
trouble.
couple of years ago, we moved into there. So they're going to let us have it again this coming year. So that'll be the third year in a row we're in the same location, which I think is important for some of the people.
And just so the public knows, in order to, do y'all connect with these families, or do you go through social services in order to connect?
We send a mailing list. We take the information that's provided to us, and we put it in a computer database. I'm a programmer, so I put it in the computer database, and that way, when the volunteers come to help, we print them out without names, and it's just an ID number and the information they need to fill the bag for the child, so they don't know who the child is. It's double blind, The parents don't know who the donors are. The donors don't know who the recipients are. None of the volunteers know anybody. The only people that know are going to be me and my wife and a couple other board members that are that are standard board members from year to year. That they'll know specifically who the families are for reasons of being able to take care of it. And then we send out an email from the emails that they provide at the beginning of the fall to say, hey, we're getting ready to do this. Hey, we're getting ready to do this. If you know you're gonna qualify, here's a form and here's a link. We now have an online form they can go fill out, but we still filter through DSS to make sure they still qualify, because that's what we promote to the donor base, and so they have to make sure that they still qualify.
Sad part about it is there's still kids going through Christmas not receiving anything.
Yeah,
We
we're
appreciate
roughly a little over 50% is what our thought process is. About 50% of the kids that need it are actually getting it from us. The others either don't make contact or they don't go through the process.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
talked about it before. A lot of them are, I guess, probably some of the parents are too proud to ask.
yep, some are too proud, some are just not with it enough, unfortunately. I'm sorry? Yes. Well, when we do promotions, WRGC, we put flyers up at DSS. DSS helps us distribute forms, physical forms, for those who need to sit there and fill it out. And we always have the emergency cases that come where all of a sudden, somebody's had a fire and they've lost everything.
Right.
And so they go to DSS and we'll let them fill out the paper form late and go ahead and make sure they get what they need so that they don't go without.
I would like to share one story. We got a call this year. A woman said, I was a recipient years back. You helped me when I needed it. And I'm going shopping. I'm spending $100. What do you need? And I said, whatever you want to bring us. And she brought us everything that we had provided for her children. She brought us because she said she knew we needed those things to go to the next child. So, and that she's not unusual. We get, every year we get a couple, and some come and volunteer or come and sponsor children. But that one was kind of, and she took out each item and said, I'm giving you this because you gave this to my child. I'm giving you this because I know you need to wrap the wrapping paper, so you gave me wrapping paper, here's wrapping paper for somebody else. It was the most beautiful experience.
And we have expanded our board to add a couple more members this year, and two of the members that are on our board are former recipients. So that way we're trying to keep in touch with the recipient base and have that perspective.
That's great. The only other thing that I think we've asked you before, it might have been Mark Jones, but in order for someone to get in touch with you guys, can you say your phone number over the microphone there? So
Yes, we have a phone number. The phone number's on the form.
Okay.
Our contact information, the phone number, the email address.
yeah, if you could,
Oh, okay.
if you could say
I'm
your
sorry.
phone number, that way the people listen.
Yes.
Maybe the
Yes,
newspaper will pick it
thank
up
you very
too.
much. I'm sorry.
Donate.
We are at 828-399-1216 is our phone. 828-506-1665 is the Spanish line for those who don't speak English. And then we also have ChristmasConnectionOfJC@gmail.com is the email address. And again, we're trying different ways to get the word out through the paper and the radio, and trying to distribute flyers to the different, gas stations and stuff in the area.
And we've already started shopping. So donations.
Oh, yeah.
1 year, that's a good thing.
We go year round. We try to shop sales as they come up year round. So
Would y'all rather have donations or
Money.
or
Doesn't matter.
When I say donations, I mean like gifts themselves or
Doesn't
money.
matter.
yep, we take merchandise, we take money, and even volunteer time. for the tasks that we have, because we work year-round to do this. It's not just Christmas.
Yeah.
It takes a year-round effort to make sure we have what we need by the time November rolls around.
What's the hardest thing for y'all to get for kids? Shoes?
We don't typically do shoes. We do an outfit like shirt, pants, and typically we have the hardest time with socks and hats and gloves, probably, because
And sports balls.
yeah,
You go out of sports balls a lot.
because those are also size oriented based on the age of the child, and so a lot of the size 4 soccer balls that you can't find them.
And they don't go on sale.
Yeah, they never do. Okay.
Brian, can you repeat the email address again?
It's christmasconnectionofjc@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Or I'm sorry, Brian. And you guys do a lot, and it's recognized. So thank y'all for all of your help.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And I'm sorry about I don't hear very well, and my
No,
hearing aids
that's
aren't
fine.
very
That's
good
probably
this
my
room,
fault.
so I apologize.
It's all right. You have a great evening. Next up this evening is Curve, and Matt Tornow is the chair. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Matt Turno, chair of Cullowhee Revitalization, a nonprofit focused on restoring Cullowhee's historic center to improve quality of life and drive economic growth in Jackson County. You have a presentation in your packets that outlines the key information that I shared with you last year. Since then, community interest hasn't slowed about this project. It's grown. There's clear, sustained support for this project. At the center of that momentum is the river park that's proposed in that plan. We believe this park can serve as a catalyst for economic development in Jackson County, and that belief is grounded in economic impact studies, cost-benefit analyses, and the success of similar projects in nearby communities. While the park is currently positioned as part of the Greenway expansion in the Parks and Recreation 10-year plan, I want to reframe that. This is not just an endpoint to the Greenway. It's a destination, and destinations drive economic impact. The visitors this park attracts will directly support local businesses and make Cullowhee a more compelling location for future investment. The core features of the river park include ADA accessible river entry and a wading beach, additional parking to support both park use and nearby commerce, reservable pavilions, an event stage, a designated space for food trucks, restrooms, and direct access to the expanded Greenway. Based on conservative projections, the expected outcomes include $1.6 million in new annual spending, 16 new jobs, $145,000 in annual tax revenue. As you'll see in the plan, with an estimated $1 million investment, the park has the potential to pay for itself in approximately 3 to 4 years through increased economic activity. Our next step is to work with Parks and Recreation to identify external funding sources that can reduce the county's financial burden and accelerate the timeline. What we're asking for today is your continued support in advancing this project into its next phase. You guys have any questions for me? I'm happy to answer them.
What is the next phase?
The next phase is for us to accelerate that timeline because it is part of this expanded Greenway plan. And our next step with Michael Hopkins is to work on funding to reduce that burden on your part. For Michael and I, we'll set up a memorandum of understanding where we can work on sourcing that additional funds so that we're not asking you for the full $1 million. We can offset those costs to the county.
Neat concept. There's a lot of unique features.
Yeah, if you can go to slide, I guess, 4.
There it is.
This shows the phase of the plan where it's basically riverside. This is the attraction where you can go and enjoy time with your family, actually access the river. Right now, it's a little bit difficult to get over a guardrail down to the river. So it's impeding actual access to the river currently. And so the idea is just to make it a green space with reservable pavilions, food trucks, those types of things. And if we can bring that type of activity, businesses that want to invest in that area are going to be more prone to do so. Right now, they don't have enough parking for a business that requires, foot traffic to get to that business. And this plan shows about 31, I believe, parking spaces that it would contribute to that area. If you know the area well, it's 3 parking spaces per building, basically, except for Rogers Brothers across the street.
Questions?
Fantastic. Thanks so much, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Moving on, next up we have here and Chris Weatherford, who's a board member.
Good evening. Hey, I know we probably have a lot of questions. If we could first maybe get through this and let me explain about the program and the work that we've done this year and what we have going on in the coming year, I would appreciate it. And then I'll answer questions that I can after that, if that's all right. So here in Jackson County, well, first off, let me say I serve on this board because housing is the one thing that DSS doesn't do. And I see it as an incredibly difficult barrier for folks to overcome these days. It's getting harder and harder for folks to get back on their feet and to get into housing and to get their basic needs met. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm involved with the organization. I see the need more and more every day with our work at DSS with folks, not only for our clients and people we serve, but for our staff. People that come to work at DSS and can't find an affordable place to live and have to move back home or move somewhere else to work, and then I lose staff. So it hits across the whole spectrum right now. But our mission here is to end homelessness in Jackson County by providing temporary emergency shelter, housing-focused case management, and short-term financial assistance. The services we provided this year are standard street outreach, and that's in Jackson County alone. We served 87 clients with that. And if you have any questions about these, I have Paul Phillips here. Paul's been the mainstay at here, has really stepped up and been there with the organization through the past year or so. That's been incredibly difficult. So Paul's great at what he does. He has a lot of the technical knowledge of this. So if you have any questions about these specific programs, I'll ask Paul to answer those. Our code purple is when temperatures reach below 32 at night. It says 51 clients served, but we actually served more than that this year. I had to update the numbers on this. It was, let me see, I wrote it down, 136 individuals, and there were 87 nights of code purple this year. So it's pretty cold out there, and we were able to keep those folks housed and safe when it got dangerously cold. Our emergency shelter program served 4 clients. This is for times when people are in need outside of Code Purple that need to be put up and need to have safe housing. Our emergency solutions grant, this is funding that comes through us through the HHS in North Carolina, and within that we have our rapid rehousing program, and we serve the whole region in that, not just Jackson County, but we serve 9 adults through that program this year. And then RUSH was the Helene Rapid Rehousing special funding that got distributed during Helene, and we were able to serve 28 clients through that. The Back at Home program, which is also DHHS funded, under that we have supportive services, and we again serve the whole region, not just Jackson County there, and serve 29 clients there. And then the rapid rehousing through Back at Home, which is a slightly different program that helped 119 clients through that. Was it that program that we helped find permanent housing for 22 folks this year out of that program? So 22 folks went from being unhoused to having supportive permanent housing. And then supportive permanent housing is another program, and we served 7 clients through there. Sorry, I'm not a loud talker.
Hey, I have a question.
Sure.
If you're helping clients of Jackson County, How do you know that the people that you're helping are actually residents of Jackson County?
Well, some of these programs, we serve the whole region. We get funding from DHHS to serve the region. It's not just the county. But
What would be the region?
the code purple is where we do serve Jackson County clients and the standard street outreach is where we do serve Jackson County clients.
What is considered the region?
It's the 7 western counties.
It's Madison County, Haywood County, Jackson County, Swain County, Graham County, Cherokee County, Clay County, and Macon County. When it comes to working with Code Purple, Street Outreach, Emergency Shelter, and what was the other one there? But those individuals are for Jackson County. Those services for Jackson County.
Yeah.
During their intake process, we ask for their previous addresses or questions regarding what led to their cause of homelessness to try and identify that.
Do you just go with a previous address? Do you just go by their word of mouth?
We do go by their word of mouth on their previous address, but we also need a third-party verifier from someone that can verify that they are from the area and that they know that they are indeed homeless in our area. And so we have to have a third-party email, text message, or something from someone, not me, not anyone in our office or the client themselves, but a third party to verify.
I just wondered because, like for years, I've heard that people were hauled in here and put out so that, and you did see, I haven't seen a lot in the past few months, but new people every week with backpacks that I'd never seen before in the town.
We see that too, but we don't see them being hauled in. We see individuals that are getting released from jail that's been serving time and they're coming back to this area because they got arrested here. And we try and offer them opportunities to go where they came from. I know that there's been, I believe, 6 times this year we've purchased Greyhound tickets to get people back connected somewhere else where they have family and resources, because it's easier to get them connected there than for us to try and take care of them with our resources so that we can utilize our resources for the locals in our community.
And you put most of your resources to helping locals? Because I know some that didn't have help for 3 years and they didn't have any power or water and they were local.
Right. And so the funds that we have, and again, I've been working with here in Jackson County since November of 2023 as the backup home housing stabilization case manager through the DHHS fund. And then in June started in street outreach. So it's, I can only speak from that time.
I got you.
Okay. And so the funding that we use for Jackson County is street outreach services, helping them with supplies, getting their legal documents, helping them get connected to local resources. We don't necessarily pay for rent or things like that for them in street outreach. We try and get them enrolled in a state or federally funded housing assistance program, and then case manage that from there. This year, since I've been interim supervisor of October, we haven't really had any funding to do the pay people's rent or pay the deposits or utility assistance or anything of that nature. From last year, we had a contract that came through the state called Choosing Home that did homeless prevention, that we could use funds for that. But as far as the donations that we get from Jackson County and the money we get from the county, we utilize that to try and cover Code Purple services, and it's 32 or below for those who are that are homeless in our area. The emergency shelter, usually if it's an elderly person that has a medical condition that needs to be put up into a room for a while for recovery purposes, or families with children, we utilize that. Right now we have a high school girl in shelter that she was under guardianship, not parents, but guardianship. And when she turned 18, they had her leave. She's in 11th grade. She's 18. She could be human trafficked pretty easily in our community or get lost in our community.
Yeah. I mean,
so we can put her in a room,
Yeah.
until the SS and other agencies can help get her somewhere stable. And that's what we utilize those funds for.
I just know of one person in particular that didn't have power or water for 3 years, and they wasn't even given a gas voucher. They had no help at all, and they tried to get it from
To
here.
my knowledge, we've never given gas vouchers.
Well, I don't know what the procedure is. I'm just making comment, you know. I mean, they didn't even get a
There
loaf
are.
of bread.
There's a lot of people in our community like that. This year, I got a call from a lady, her and her husband, they're in their 70s. They've lived in a house for 19 years without running water and electricity. The property provider is selling their home or selling the land, and so they no longer get a home. And so they find themselves homeless all of a sudden, but they've been living in that type of condition for 19 years.
Yeah.
And that's how they reached out to us, you know. They all have different stories, but, you know, when it comes to Jackson County, our focus is to serve those citizens of Jackson County. We got one right now. She was in an accident, 59 years old. In an accident, wasn't able to continue her work until her bones healed. She's got a 38-year-old adult son who had a motorcycle accident and is disabled that she's caring for.
Yeah.
And she couldn't pay her rent. She got evicted out. She's homeless, living in her car, trying to get to work. And she utilized our Code Purple services all winter. And she called the other day and said, look, I found a property that I can rent. The property provider is willing to rent to me. I need $1,400 to cover the first month's rent and security deposit to be able to get in there. But my paycheck will cover it. I can go on back to work now. Those are the kind of things that we want to do to help those individuals to prevent going into homelessness or remaining in homelessness. But that's when we look at the street outreach, Code Purple, emergency shelter services. That's what we use the local donor funds for. And then the contracts we have with DHHS Emergency Solution Grant and DHHS Back at Home, that's regional. And so that's what we covered the other 8 counties for, or all 8 counties.
Thank you.
So what is ahead for us? We're currently under the final negotiations of new leadership. We hired the services of Gene Pritt with People Outcomes to help us with the new executive director search, to make sure we put a lot of energy and effort into finding somebody that can carry this organization forward, somebody we can trust to do that. Ms. Pritt is also the same folks that Center for Domestic Peace used for their transition processes and everything, so she came well recommended and has been really great to work with her through this process. We've got new board leadership this year. We've had several folks leave the board. We've had several staff leave the organization. It's been just a tough year. I think everybody's dealing with turnover, but certainly in turbulent times, you're going to see that more. So we are seeking new board members. If anybody's interested in serving, reach out to us or call me at the Department of Social Services, and I'll be glad to talk with you about that. But our plan is to sort of do a complete rebranding. The events, I think that's it. So this is our request for next year. We're not going to see the need go away. I just recently read Michael Poston's articles about the new housing initiative, and we really want to be around to be part of that and to help with that and to move people through that process once that takes shape. There's, I heard Tiffany Henry talk about a study that was done that showed we have a 2,700 unit housing shortage in our county, and we see that, and our services are going to be needed to do that. Like I said, nobody else does housing here, the way we do it. So yeah, while it has been a tough year and, coming on the heels of what happened last week and our former director being next door, we've been working with that and dealing with that since October. So we've been through it with this whole process. We've been audited by DHHS. We received a forensic audit that helped us determine what occurred and how it occurred. And as soon as we had the information we needed, we turned it over to law enforcement, and they did their job. And you know, sometimes these things take longer than you want them to, but you know, that person responsible for this is being held to account. Her actions are not a reflection of this organization.
So you don't feel like there was any other involvement with people that worked within the office?
Not
with the
within the
person?
office, no.
Yeah, you hear a lot of stuff of what went on, and you know, from newspapers and
Right.
hearsay and this, that, and the other.
Right.
So I'm glad you're here tonight to get on the record and tell what really, you know, what really took place.
Right.
Even through that, continued to help people that really needed it. So,
And I could tell you, if it wasn't for the staff, there's a couple of brave staff members that stepped forward and said, hey, we're seeing some stuff we don't think's quite right. And as board, we took that seriously and started looking into things immediately. And when we verified that there weren't things right, a lot of the financial stuff wasn't even on the radar. It was other things. It was the kind of workplace it was. It was the kind of treatment people were having. It was.
There was a lot of the treatment part.
It was.
And
There's
the
a lot of that.
part of the people that work with each other.
Right. So we took a pretty comprehensive approach to doing an investigation and immediately put her on investigatory leave and started investigating. I started talking with staff, with community partners, with our folks at DHHS that we deal with. And, you know, we've been an open book to all those folks that needed the information they needed to get to where we are today.
So you're the acting director right now, Paul?
Supervisor.
Supervisor? I got you. Okay. So if somebody called you, would they be able to get in touch with you? Or do you have people that screen calls and maybe don't tell you?
They can call me.
They can call you? Okay. No, I just know some instances that they said that you would not call them back.
I do
Yeah,
apologize if that's the case.
Yeah.
I have been out.
I'm letting you be aware of it.
My kid's been in ICU all week. We just got discharged today,
Yeah.
so there could be something.
I got you. No, I'm just letting you be aware of it. This is what the responses were.
Okay.
The program has sure been through a lot. I know that, but do you know how long? And it may be an ongoing investigation. You can tell me that, and I'll hush.
Right.
But I don't know exactly how long former director had been in her position.
Right.
I know it was for a
Since
while.
22.
I know it was for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Was the investigation, was that done back to that year, or was it just the previous year?
Yeah, we went all the way back to
Went all the way
2022.
back. And had she been embezzling money the whole time, or
For the past 4 years.
so it's been the
Started.
whole
Started in 23.
time? And has the county been able to get those funds back, or the state?
The state is not holding us liable for the funds, for those particular funds. How this was done was everything's already been paid for. It was done through credit cards, and then the credit cards were paid off with agency funds. And again, it's a little bit at a time, right? And this is when I first started talking with the forensic auditor, she was like, this is probably what this is going to look like. And she nailed it because she deals with this kind of stuff a lot more than I do. But, you know, these things kind of get peppered into normal payments. And when you have an organization that buys normal things, it's really hard to determine at first what's a legitimate expense and what's not. And so we really had to go back and spend a lot of time digging. And some of our board members and staff and former staff that were around during that time were able to kind of go through and work through and kind of get the best estimate we could of all those expenses and how everything was came into her possession.
Change in protocol moving forward in terms of how it's managed. I mean, I guess that's the ultimate decider.
Absolutely.
In all this. How do we?
You know, another question I have: if the people that are coming in here and the people you're helping are so safe, why do they have a locked door to their office?
I don't think that that was by choice for our office. When we rented that space, it was already locked because there's attorney's offices upstairs, and to prevent clients from just coming in and going into the wrong office building, they must have had that locked because it's not normally for the attorneys to have people go upstairs. They meet downstairs.
Yeah.
And so it was already there when we rented the building. It's not because by choice.
Well, maybe the attorneys could just lock their door.
I think they're fixing to leave, so
Okay.
we can do that. I think they've got a new building.
The person that did this harm to the organization had a key.
Yeah.
It was somebody
Yeah.
we knew. It wasn't some stranger. It wasn't somebody on hard times. It was somebody doing bad things, and people do bad things, and that is unfortunate.
And I do want to talk about the Code Purple a little bit, and some of it may be hearsay, and I want the facts today.
Right.
You know, I want the facts, straight facts. Because I have heard that former director would help some of these folks, maybe not haul them in, but help them to come into the county and change the residence in order to receive the, you know, some of the help from the county. Is that true or false?
To my knowledge, in my time being there, I have not seen or heard of any of that.
No.
This year, going through Code Purple, it is pretty much the same people we deal with last year, with just the
Right.
exception of some new family or new person that, because of whatever reason, have become unhoused this year. But
Because I've heard it from many different people.
I've
just
heard
saying.
for years that they're holding.
but I haven't. We have their names on file.
And it's good. I mean, it's good. It's good that, you know, I wanted the facts. That's
Right.
the reason I asked, you know,
Right.
just because I don't want to go off hearsay. I want
Right.
to know the facts of
Right.
if it was true.
The
And another thing that I asked, this thing sounds a little loud anyway. But another thing that I asked former director, I don't know if it was last year or year before, but was if she was connecting with other organizations or nonprofits in order to help with maybe some of the folks that are dealing with substance abuse and things like that that are not able to be in home, get, you know,
Peer
rent their own
support,
home.
you know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
And she-
organization to organization and how you.
And at that time,
those
she
people.
sort of pushed back against me, and I wasn't being negative anyway because I want those folks to have help as well.
Right.
And she said, we don't do that. You know, that's not our job. But these folks need help. You know,
Right.
they're there to get help. So
Tend
I
to
hope
not be
going
homeless.
forward that y'all will consult with other organizations.
Yeah.
That way it will break the chain of homelessness and for some of these people that, you know, struggle with addictions.
And the other thing, are you paid for your job?
Our salary?
Yeah, and your staff that's in there? Okay. Then I guess my question is that, if they don't refer other people or do that, from what I've heard, staff that you work with go to other nonprofits and get stuff for themselves.
What? Like what items would they go and get for themselves from another nonprofit? I don't know what you're asking.
Money.
Oh, money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of anybody I do not know of anybody in our office. that-
Well, I don't know if it's directly money, but they get things paid for.
Are you talking about, do they qualify for other services in the community? Because that could be a legitimate case right there. I mean, we've got county employees that qualify for food stamps.
Yeah, it's not just.
You
it's
know,
not food
it could be something like that.
Is there a specific organization or something that they're going to get that maybe you could help me? Because I don't know of any. I know that as a case manager, I don't know if y'all can hear me. I know as a case manager, whenever you're helping someone get into a home, they don't have transportation, phones, or access to get to local resources.
Right.
And so the case manager will either take them,
Mhm.
or if they can't go or won't go or whatever, because we have some with mental illness that they wouldn't eat or go get food if you didn't bring it to them. We do go as a case manager for housing stabilization. I did too. Would go to United Christian Ministries or to Community Table to get food boxes to deliver to
Right,
those
right,
families
right,
in their
right.
homes. Some of them, they have kids, and so we may not have child seats and stuff to transport them and their kids. So we what items do you need? We'll go to the food bank, to your food and stuff, but it wasn't for our personal use. If that's maybe what somebody's seen.
This is for personal use.
Okay, then I don't know anything about that.
So back to what I was talking about though, about the substance abuse.
Right.
Do y'all help or possibly open the door for?
We do.
Make those connections.
We do. We can't make anyone do it, but we talk to them when we know that there's a substance use issue about getting connected with one of the providers in the area. We have called the ACU. What's that?
ACS.
Yes,
Appalachian.
ACS, Appalachian Community Services, to try and get them connected to resources. Some of them will go and do some treatment and do some time. Some of them will will allow us to connect them to veteran services
That's
for
good.
mental health and substance use. We have some that will utilize what used to be Meridian, now Blue Ridge Health
Right.
for
That's,
services.
that's what I asked
But
her in that meeting.
if they won't go, I mean, it's on the list of, tell us about your needs and your situation, your medical, your mental health, your substance use, and we make those references and we'll assist them to connect. That is part of what we do. I don't understand the resistance that she gave.
I don't either. I was
that-
shocked. It's
I
been
know
probably
with-
2 or 3.
Yeah, it was
2
a couple
3
years ago.
Yeah.
With our Housing First model that you hear about with Back at Home and with Emergency Solution Grant, when you're using those state and federal funds, they say use Housing First. That means is we focus on housing, but it also means we connect mental health and substance use and local resources and other things that
Right.
we can help them with. It doesn't mean we don't. It just means.
And in my mind, I was
it doesn't
thinking,
stop us
that's
from
what you
housing.
do. And I asked her that question.
Yeah.
Well,
Because without it, seriously, if you don't take care of the whole person, then
Right.
it's not going to be successful.
It's not going to do
And
no good. And that's
you can take a person and get them into a home, and if they're mentally or substance use or whatever situation, it won't be successful unless they're fully connected, And we see that if we get them into a home, they get it. We don't. One thing to understand is we don't decide who gets the housing assistance. We fill out the forms, the applications. We can make the calls to the state. They have these regional meetings. They call us and say, it's an HMIS number. They don't even give us the name. This person's been approved for rapid rehousing. This person's been approved for permanent supportive housing. And so then our job is to go find that person and work with them to get into housing. And so we don't know until we get in there if there's mental health, substance use, if there's going to be children involved, what's the situation. And so once we do that, we start trying to connect the whole person to services. But they don't have to be clean and sober or mentally stable in order to fill out housing applications and get into a home, because we still case manage them for up to a year once they're housed. And so when we see that there's a need for mitigation between them and their landlords because of those problems, their health issues causing those problems with housing, we start working on, now do you want to go to substance use, and we'll keep paying your rent. So when you get out of treatment, you'll still have a home, but it's important for long-term stability in housing. And so we do that. I don't understand the resistance she gave, but how can you?
we've learned a lot since
Yeah.
then, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How much? Do you know how much that was taken?
it was around 123,000.
Thank you guys for coming. I know it wasn't easy to come here tonight.
No.
Okay. It wasn't easy, but I want the truth out of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because we work really hard and we believe in what we do. And obviously all the people
You did your job well,
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
I've been told,
Thank you, ma'am.
but you were also stepping on one.
Thank you, ma'am. But, whenever as staff, we weren't allowed to talk to each other. We couldn't learn what my partner over here, who his clients were, what they were doing.
Right.
And whenever, sometime in March or April of last year, her aggressiveness got to the point that we just did what we started talking. And we learned what this person said, and this person had a little bit, and that person had a little bit. Come May, we were able to start putting a lot more together. And then whenever we tried to find proof because, you know, it's just an allegation, it's just person's word. It took until about October before we was able to find some charts that was hidden in archive files. We were able to find some information. We started finding receipts that this supposed boyfriend was a consultant that she was paying money to, and it's like, we got to tell somebody. And so there was 4 or 5 of us that was reaching out to the state and to the board and said, there's some red flags, major red flags. And within a couple of days, the board had come in, put her on administrative leave. I think within a week or whatever later, she was terminated. And DHS Emergency Solution Grant came in about a week later and did a on-site audit. And then a week later after the audit, they said they wanted to continue a contract and sign a New Year's contract for this coming year because they've seen the office, the operation of the organization, the staff were not in any way jeopardizing the contract or misusing the funds or anything like that. Her business was strictly her. And then Department of Health Human Services back at home, they did the same thing. They came in and did an audit, and our contract doesn't end until October with them, but they've already talking about renewing with them. Of course, federal and state funds are going to change. There's not going to be as much housing assistance coming forward, but they have supportive services where they want case managers in the community helping to connect them to maybe programs like Mountain Projects and other housing authorities to help get housing. And so they're going to sign a new contract with us come October with more supportive services only type work.
And I always thought it was strange from the get-go. She'd come in and request, you know, this amount, and then the next year would be this amount. He'd ask questions, you know, but it was always hostility. You know, she'd push back against questions. And when you're coming before, I mean, the county, I'm just like one of you guys. I mean, I'm not here to intimidate anybody, but I'm here to ask questions. And the pushback always was just strange to me because we were, you know, trying to help the HERE program.
Never gave answers to any questions.
It was a runaround. It was always a runaround.
I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I'll give you answers later.
So I always thought something was up. I always thought something was up.
Worked under her, you know. And the reason I haven't left is because I believe in the work, and the reason the staff that was there, they believed in the work. But yes, she was very hostile, and I believe that she was that way so you wouldn't look deep enough. Because now that we see what's been going on, there was a lot that she was covering.
Yeah. Wish we would have. But I'm glad y'all caught it.
I'm shocked she got that job with her prior record.
I can't answer that. I got hired after her.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank y'all again. I know it's still fresh. It's very disappointed. It's disgusting. We've been feeling that way for a long time, so we can empathize with that. If you choose to continue to fund the organization, I understand withholding with the news just coming out last week. The funding for the rest of the year, we would like to continue to do the work. We'd like to continue to help folks with this need. We would like to put additional safeguards in place, like an annual audit. Those are expensive, especially for a small shop. But you know, those are the kind of things we would be interested in doing going forward. If it takes us coming in quarterly and giving a report, you know,
And it's a shame you have to do that for something that y'all are doing. I mean, y'all are trying to help these people.
Well, I mean, you know, when you work with people, you understand how valuable trust is. And when trust is broken, it's really hard to repair.
Yeah.
And I know that. And I ask people through my social workers and through our court processes all day to repair trust. And if I'm not willing to stand up here and do it, I can't expect anybody else to do it either. So,
Yeah.
That's
So what are
where
y'all
we're at.
requesting this year?
220,000.
Oh, okay, I see it right there. What was allocated last year? How much? And the reason for the increase is just inflation?
To help cover with the inflation, the increase in hotel room costs
Cover what she stole.
is going up. Well, we'll still file an insurance claim on some of that. We'll get some of that back through insurance. It's a whole nother fun process to go through, but we're dealing with that. We'll get we'll get some of that back through there. But
Is the director search going now?
we, yes, yeah, we're very close to concluding that. So should be hopefully making an announcement here within the next week or so, I believe.
Sounds like you got somebody right here that's
Want to qualify?
Paul deserves a lot of credit. He deserves a lot of support. It's not been easy for him.
Yeah, because he never had any support from none of them in that office.
And he's had a lot on his shoulders that he didn't sign up for. So appreciate him and his work and the rest of the staff too that have kept things going and kept people safe. So thank you.
A job like that takes somebody that cares. It's obvious that he
Absolutely.
cares. It's a shame that people's going to give the whole organization a bad name because of what one person's done. And hopefully that's not going to happen, but that's a tendency.
hopefully it'll be a new chapter.
I think so. I think I got excited reading Michael Poston's report again on a concerted effort to look at affordable housing for folks and start addressing that need in our community, because you see it in other communities, but it just seems to be very concentrated here in our county. It's just more and more of a lack of places. I'm losing a social worker here in the next month or so because she wants to graduate out of student housing and
It's all about the money, right?
can't make it work. So going home to live with parents.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job. Good evening.
You too. Up next, we have Belinda Fox and the Jackson County Athletic Hall of Fame. Good evening, Belinda.
Good evening, Commissioners. The Jackson County Athletic Hall of Fame was founded in 1993. It was founded when Coach Babe Howe approached the county commissioners at that time about designating a spot in the newly constructed Justice Administration Building for the Hall of Fame plaque displays. You will see them downstairs when you come in the building. Through the years, the commissioners, Charles Elders and Boyce Dietz, both served on our board for the Hall of Fame. The goal with the Hall of Fame is to preserve and recognize the rich athletic history in Jackson County, as well as honoring the present talents of outstanding student athletes in Jackson County. We've had 108 inductees into the Hall of Fame. We've had 62 outstanding athletes from Jackson County Public High Schools, that's Smoky Mountain High School and Blue Ridge, honored, and we've honored 25 patrons from the community that support athletics here in Jackson County. We have a constitution and bylaws that we adhere to and are in place for our board. We are submitting a request for $1,500 from the county. That is to use money for plaque expenditures. We purchased 2 for each honoree. One is put here in this building and one is given to the honoree. And we have a banquet where they're presented their plaque, and we sell tickets for the dinner because we're a nonprofit. We're not profiting anything or keeping anything, but they pay $25 to come and have dinner, and we honor the recipients and the outstanding athletes from each high school as well.
This is awesome. Any questions for Ms. Fox?
Good.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, guys.
Everything but
Todd was wondering if he qualified.
Do I qualify for the Hall of Fame?
You can submit your application.
I do have one question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a timeline from the time you graduate from high school to when you're eligible?
Yes.
Is there like a certain criteria?
Just exactly as, Cal Raleigh was put into the Athletic Hall of Fame.
Josh Evans back here. We need to put him in, right?
Ben
Simmons is in there.
There are a couple. But they are out of high school for over 5 years before they're, am I right on that, Carrie? 5 years. I was right. Before an application can be submitted for them. And if we receive an application and those are open for the community, we announce those for months ahead of time. If we receive one and they have not met that criteria, then they are not selected that year, but they go into our notebook and they can be selected when their time has come.
That's great.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
helps. If anybody's listening and wants to know when their son or daughter is eligible.
Yes, now they know.
Now they
Yes. And the banquet is always in August.
Well, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Next up this evening, we have Mountain Projects Executive Director, Cy Simmons. Good evening.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. What?
We can't see you. Can you stand?
I can't reach this microphone. Check this podium. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and Jackson County staff. My staff told me to read off the script because I get going, so I'm going to read it off the script. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about Mountain Project funding requests for 2026-27. Last year we requested $19,193. This year we're requesting $16,693. The first program that you help support is the Senior Companion and Foster Grandparent Program, for which we're requesting $6,924. That's part of a 10% required match that we have to do. This program creates meaningful connections across generations. Senior companions provide vital socialization and support to older adults, helping reduce isolation and improve quality of life. At the same time, foster grandparents work one-on-one with children within the school system, offering mentorship, encouragement, and stability that can make a lasting difference in a child's life. We all know how important that is. Second, we're requesting $5,000 on behalf of Jackson Neighbors in Need. We run their financial services through Mountain Projects. This program, as you know, created to ensure that no one in our community goes without heat during the winter months. And Ms. Hooper, that's a little alarming to hear what you stated earlier about somebody going without heat. I don't let people know. We do that, and we do our best to figure out and make sure that it's a legitimate offer or request, but that's a little alarming to hear that. Working closely with Jackson County Department of Social Services and United Christian Ministries, we identify and assist those most in need. Each year we help more than 200 families, Jackson Neighbors in Need, with their heating assistance during the cold winter months. Finally, we're requesting $4,769 to support our GED program at the Mountain Project Silva office. We're in partnership with SCC to provide a non-traditional learning environment for adult students. They meet one night a week. We provide a meal. It's a very friendly atmosphere, and they've had tremendous success. This program removes barriers and helps individuals achieve their goal of earning a GED. Together, these programs strengthen our community by supporting seniors, mentoring children, assisting families in crisis, and helping adults build a better future. I'll be glad to answer any questions on behalf of our staff.
Any questions for the board?
Thank you for what y'all do.
Yeah.
You do a good job.
Have family members that utilize the services, and it's much needed.
Right.
A lot of these folks would be homeless if it wasn't for y'all and for the work that you do.
In full transparency, the HEAL program, we've helped those individuals. That urgent housing situation 2 or 3 years ago, I went to Walmart personally and bought house goods and mattresses and everything to set up this family in Hazelwood. They were Jackson County, and we found them, or here, found a house in Haywood County, and we bought all the utensils for that house. So, you asked Todd about working together. That's what makes nonprofit, and that's what makes Mountain Project special, and the other nonprofit groups that we are part of a network, and we do our best to vet and legitimate size offers, but when you got children involved and you have people that don't have heat and they're hungry and they don't have a place to go, That's why I sort of stink at retirement, because I go home every night feeling good about what we've done. So, I represent 138 employees that do a heck of a job every day helping people.
And hopefully, people that are able, your organization along with others are able to help lift them up to where they can become
Absolutely.
sufficient. Just like Dr. Fall was in here, I think, the last meeting in Rolling Start, and they had helped a lady get a car, and now she actually is buying her first house.
That's exactly right. That individual came through our community action, through our switchboard, and a lot of times people ask for food or they'll ask for some type of assistance, but our intake specialists are trained to ask that next question, and then the next question, and the next question. Unfortunately, our Section 8 housing is still under what they call shortfall. We're eligible for 1,004 vouchers, and our staff works every single day calling everybody we can possibly call. But, that number's down in the 750s right now. So Congress, whoever's got to make a decision to free those vouchers up so, we can help with the numbers that Tiffany and her staff have identified. Housing is a problem. And it continues to be a problem. And of course, we're lucky to have, the county working side by side with Western and Givens on the web project, and that's moving.
I'll ask you about
Yeah, it's moving. And, a lot of our time has been spent trying to identify those outside sources to help with our infrastructure. And I can't say enough about Tiffany Henry and her staff here. And, anytime you go through a project like this, you identify different problems and different things come up. But we're moving, and hopefully, and she can tell you better than I can, but hopefully, we'll have a overall groundbreaking ceremony early summer and get this thing going.
How many people are on your staff, Tiffany? One. That was a single finger. Plus herself.
I think the foster grandparent program is a great program for kids too.
Yes.
My wife's grandmother was a foster grandparent. I think Todd come up through Scotts Creek when she was there. And I think that's what kept her going for as long as she was going. Great program. She loved the kids.
Well,
Yeah, she was a good lady, that's for sure.
every child doesn't have the exact same opportunities, but programs like that are vital.
A lot of children, especially in some of these situations, they don't have that nurturing at
That's
home.
right. That's right.
Those foster grandparents can give them that nurturing.
Yeah.
And I know y'all help all kinds of different people in the community, but what always bothers me about kids for sure, but what always bothers me is about the elderly people that's worked for years trying to make ends meet, and then they come to a point in their life they can't work. Social Security don't pay enough to pay for rent, and then, like you just said, Congress has got enough backbone to stand up there and not fund enough for housing. That's just ridiculous, really. Just because these folks are, 70, 80-year-old. You know this, and they've worked their whole life. They've broke their back trying to make ends meet, but I appreciate y'all helping those.
Well,
everybody, but that community.
We appreciate Jackson County. For an agency like Mountain Projects, being in business 60 years, it's very stable, and I continue to make an effort to keep it that way. So.
And the Givens outfit out there, that's for over 60 years old or?
Yep.
55 and up.
Those are such easy questions. That's why I brought Tiffany here tonight.
So that's going to hopefully bridge the gap on some of this, correct?
Yeah.
Shortness of housing.
That's the goal. And also, while he's here, it just happened the end of last week. We got an announcement of another grant that we were awarded from Golden Leaf for infrastructure that's specific for the
Mountain Project's portion of that project. So that was $500,000 that was awarded towards that portion of the project. And really what that does is makes that per lot cost go down so that they become more affordable and sustainable long term for these people.
We've got the Cannon Foundation. They'll be on in our offices tomorrow, looking at our program, and we've made a request to them. And also, the group as a whole has made a request to the North Carolina State Employees Credit Union, and they've shown tremendous interest in the overall program. So we're asking the right people, and we're trying to do the right things, and it's happening.
Is there any timeline on the facility out in Webster?
I'd say we're going to break ground as a whole group this summer.
Yeah.
Late spring, summer.
And you will be invited. All of the boards, all of the organizations. We had a call on Monday and discussed that.
It'll be after my term. Make sure you keep my phone. Make sure you call me.
Well, the plan is, and I think the overall consensus on our call on Monday was to have a groundbreaking for every organization. Right. So Western Carolina University, Givens Communities, Mountain Projects, and then of course this board. And so once we'll do a groundbreaking, and then we will do ribbon cuttings as those specific projects sort of come online.
Do they have one of those over in near Asheville?
We've got one in Haywood County, and there is one in Asheville.
Yeah.
Seems like I was out on one of those roads one day riding, looking for a U-Haul. Actually, bought a couch.
If you're off Sweeten Creek.
That's right.
Yep, there is.
And went by there. That place is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, huge. So I'm hoping that it's going to be that big over here.
It's 120 units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So.
Bill, you're about old enough to move out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
55 or better.
Oh, I qualify.
Thank you.
Thank you, Si. Next up this evening, we have United Christian Ministries and Executive Director Ann Nicholson and Chair Josh Sutton. Good evening, guys.
Good evening. Good to see y'all. Thank y'all for having us. We are United Christian Ministries. We were founded in 1989 by a group of churches who saw a need. And as you've heard from the many already before us, there is a great need in this county. And we try our best to do that with the love of Christ. So we don't turn anybody away. We try to help. If we can't help, our lovely director here has contacts with all these local organizations, and we try to get them help. So we're asking for some money from y'all for financial crisis. That would include, I'll let Ann tell you a little bit more about that, but it includes pass-through power, water, medication expenses, things of that nature.
Pass-through electric.
Yeah.
Is it good
Oh, yeah.
time to ask questions?
Yes, you go right ahead. I think everybody knows we've been around a long time.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, you can ask. I've just been chair for this year, and so Ann's got me here.
Yeah.
What's the request for this year?
15,000.
Now, that's been the same for the past several years, correct?
That is correct.
We appreciate y'all being. You're one of the
best ones.
The few, yeah, best one. One of the few that come and you ask for the same thing every year, and appreciate that.
Do a lot with
it. Yeah,
love.
you do a lot with it. I
And
mean,
we try to be very good stewards with the money because it's not our money, it's the county's money, and we do work closely with other agencies to pull our resources together to help people. Yeah, I've heard that you have done a phenomenal job over there, and your bookkeeping is superb. Oh, well, thank you.
Is there, have you seen an increase this year or in the last fiscal year?
We have. We budgeted last year $30,000 for pass-through electric, and we raised that to $40,000 this year. Year to date, right now, we have spent $16,072, and that has helped 53 people. And that is paying the past due amount. We used to do a set amount for everybody, and we're helping more people.
we first asked the client, how much can you pay? And they could say, nothing, we can't. I said, that's fine. But I always like to start the question with, how much are you able to cover? Because it is their bill, and I want to remind them of that. But we will work with other agencies, and I try to pay just the past due amount. If it was $157 and they owe $400, we will pay the past due amount. And we will work with Jackson County Neighbors in Need, DSS, Salvation Army, and we'll get that person's bill paid. We have seen 91 new clients this year. We've already given out over 56,000 pounds of food. We see about, let's see, year to date, about 4,200 people already. About 30 to 50 families come a day, and that would be anywhere from maybe 50 people to 165 people that we've served that day.
Oh, yeah, it stays busy.
Yeah, it's hopping. It's, yeah. No.
No. And unfortunately, with the increase in everything now, we're going to see an increase again. So,
And we
Coming increase of Duke Powers.
Duke Power seems to be the biggest
Yes,
one,
Duke
and
Power.
we did allocate resources. We used to help with hotel vouchers. We budgeted $10,000, and we would help the HERE program, and we would do it year round. It wasn't just in Code Purple. But the problem we ran into was there was only one hotel in the area that only had 32 rooms that would actually work with UCM, and then HERE would book all those rooms. And so then we couldn't help anybody, so we moved that into the rent category and just decided to try to keep people from being evicted. And that was the best way to just kind of move the money around. Yeah.
Good deal. We appreciate what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Executive Director Jennifer Cooper with Water. Good evening.
Hello. I'm not Jennifer. I'm Madeline. I am the board president at Water. And I'm just going to introduce Jennifer to you. She is our very recently new executive director. We're so happy to have her. But I'm just going to introduce our organization a little bit and tell you a little bit about what we do. And thank you so much for having us. We're really glad to be here and have the opportunity for y'all to get to know us better. So this is just a map of the area that we serve. This is the Tuckasegee watershed. The watershed extends far beyond just the Tuckasegee River itself. So that covers, the Tuckasegee River is 60 miles long, but the watershed covers a 655 square mile area. So the headwaters of the Tuckasegee are way up in Cashers, and it goes all the way down into Swain County. So it's a very large area to keep an eye on. Our mission as an organization is to protect and improve the water quality and habitat of the Tuckasegee watershed. And we do that by monitoring the health of the river as well as the riverbank, because what's around the river greatly affects the health of the river itself. Once we find those problems, we take steps to restore the riverbank or any other kind of threats to the watershed. And we also do a lot of educational work, and that is, because the more people know about it, the easier it is for us to get that information. People are better informed and able to let us know when there's something going on that we need to take a look at. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to our wonderful new executive director.
Thank you so much. Yes, so I am Jennifer Cooper, and as Maddie said, I'm brand new. Tomorrow will be my 2-week anniversary in this role, so go easy on me. But I wanted to share just a couple of highlights of each of those 3 areas. So, mouse. There we go. In the monitoring category, we have a couple of water sampling programs. The primary programs are Swim Guide, which we test weekly at 17 sites, and that's primarily for recreational purposes, and VWIN, and for that we have 12 sites that we sample monthly and an additional 9 that we sample quarterly. So that adds up to, let's see, in 2025 we had 580 water quality samples. So, make sure to keep a close eye on the health of the water and how that impacts the health of the community. And you can just see some numbers here. These are Swim Guide numbers, as you can see, and the red are numbers that are above the recreational thresholds. So, you got a lot of bad things going into the water, unfortunately. And sorry, I'm a Mac person, so I'm gonna continue to click on that wrong button. And on this slide, you can see where our VWIN sites are. They're throughout the Tuckasegee watershed, but the majority of them are in Jackson County. And there are some of our lovely volunteers. We also keep an eye on, what stream banks might need assistance. So, looking out for failing stream banks. This fellow, if you can just see that little bitty dot up there, that's a drone. So we're able to get aerial imagery as well as, going and getting eyes on potential problems. And that way we're able to strategically tackle potential problem areas. And we also do some monitoring of trash and turbidity. This is actually a picture from app, but we're planning to have a similar, it's called a trash trout, installed in cooperation with Jackson County Public Works, or Silva Public Works rather, on Scotts Creek. We also have some plans for continuous turbidity monitoring, seeing how much mud is going into the water from where. So those are some of our monitoring efforts. As far as restoration, that's been one of our big projects over the past year. Some of y'all might be familiar with the work that we did post Helene debris removal, getting those banks back up to snuff. So here is something that shows all of the places that we did that. So we tackled, I believe it was about 90 separate locations in about 30 different sites. So those were primarily on the Tuckasegee itself, but we also did some work. Oh no. There we go. We also did some work on tributaries. Here are some of our volunteers along the Cullowhee Greenway. And a couple of our more recent projects were along Scotts Creek. They are doing stream bank restoration on the nature trails in Monteith Park in this little video. And we've also, I believe our most recent project was stabilizing the bank on Scotts Creek in Dillsboro, right around Innovation Station. And that's ongoing work. I mentioned aerial photography. So this is one of the stream bank restoration projects we're going to be doing in the upcoming months, which is along the Tuckasegee near Uncle Bill's. And then that third area that Maddie mentioned, we do a lot of education projects, and that really runs the gamut from working with little kids, working with K-12, the colleges, all the way up to property owners, business owners, interested citizens. And just to hit a couple of highlights there, we have an annual Cherokee traditional fish weir project, which is super cool. We get campers from ECBI Lake Summer Camp program, and they come out to the traditional fish weir in Webster. They get to see how some of their ancestors might have fished and learn about the river. We maintain the nature trails at Monteith Farmstead Park. So you can see, I think most of these pictures are a little bit on the older side, but we do cleanups. Here are some of our Western summer students that were actually maintaining the trail surface. And one of our current board members and former executive directors actually just revamped the signs for the park. So though I'm not sure if they're in quite yet, but they will be shortly. We are a part of the Blue Ridge Historical Trail, which gives people a really unique perspective on what is in the river. Something worth checking out if any of you guys are water people. And finally, we participate in a lot of events. This is one of our board members who I was meeting with him today, and he said he loves telling children about all the cool things that are in the water. So he was able to participate in the Mission WNC Middle School STEM contest. So we participate in a lot of STEM related education. So kind of gave you a laundry list of things, and I know I'm talking a lot more and showing a lot more slides than most of the other people, but I did want to just kind of wrap up with why all of this matters, kind of go beyond that laundry list. So as I see it, there are three big areas that we contribute to the community in really concrete ways. I personally love nature. I have really fond memories of being a little kid, rolling up my pants legs, getting in the creek with my cousins. And water does, help people do that. But beyond that, we have an economic impact on the community. I'm sure y'all are very familiar with all the economic impact numbers. Jackson is one of the top 5 counties for fly fishing. I believe it's 2023 numbers, but a survey found that outdoor recreation spending in this county brings in about 150 million, supports nearly 1,500 jobs. So all of that is great, but none of that happens if we have a degraded waterway. If we have a muddy river, it's bad for trout. It's not great for paddling. Farmers need to get water in their irrigation equipment. That can cause damage. Same thing for industry. If any of you guys remember our boil water advisory after Helene, there was so much turbidity, so much mud in the water that it caused problems with TWASA, with the water treatment issues. So the work that we do to maintain stream banks, to keep those riparian zones up and whatnot, it has a real impact on keeping the water a good thing for not just tourists, but also for locals, for everyone who drinks water. So that's one of the big things that we do that's a little bit more concrete. We also contribute to public health. I mentioned those Monteith Park nature trails. That's a great way to just get out of nature and move around, exercise. We all know that's great. That water quality monitoring that I talked about, that can let people know what water is healthy to be in and what isn't. And then something that I wanted to touch on, we've been working with several other nonprofits to create watershed action plans for Scotts Creek and Savannah Creek. Right now, I believe the term is impaired waterways. There's a lot of E. coli in there, essentially. So those plans are in progress. They're being reviewed by NC DEQ right now. And when we get that approval, we will be able to apply for some pretty substantial funds that can be used by homeowners to repair failing septic systems and tackle some of those other sources of water issues. I think I left this out earlier, but we have a lot of collaborations. So, collaborations there with the public health department, with TWASA, with a lot of groups like that. And then the final thing that I wanted to touch on, I mentioned education earlier. And as I said, we do a lot with, the younger part of our population. But we also do a lot of education for land and business owners, for instance, how to tackle issues with erosion. If you are a property owner who has riverbank, who has stream bank, how can you take care of that? If you notice a problem, who do you contact? We have a lot of stuff like that. I did mention the STEM. And again, we have a lot of collaborations. So, we've had interns from Western. We've worked with students from UNC, SCC, ECBI or EBCI. So lots of really tangible impacts. We try to be really good stewards of our resources. We have, as I said, a lot of good collaborations. We have a lot of stakeholders that have great connections to the community, that have great knowledge. So we're able to parlay that and make our resources go as far as possible. So investment in water is an investment in the community. So thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, I will try my very best to answer them from my 2 weeks in perspective.
Okay, who are you employed by? The county?
It's a nonprofit. So yeah, it's
So you're paid by a nonprofit?
I am, yes, ma'am.
And that's the watershed?
The Watershed Association of the Tuckasegee River. Yeah, so the abbreviation is WATR.
How many people work there?
There is myself, and we have a part-time admin person. Yeah, we have a number of other people that they contribute a great deal of time and expertise, but they are volunteers.
You know, I can't remember the guy's name that come in here.
Was it someone a couple of years back?
Gentleman, yeah.
Also Ken Brown, maybe?
Yeah. He
Yeah,
come in here and
Ken
was talking about Scotts Creek, and you wouldn't believe.
Well, even there's people
go
that live
through a
near
rainstorm or
rivers
something.
that
Yeah.
had septics go bad. And
Yeah.
can't afford to replace them, and then E. coli is going into the rivers.
That's what he was talking about, yeah.
It's not only
Scotts
affecting the
Creek,
trout,
yeah.
but anybody that gets in the rivers now swimming in fecal matter that's
Exactly. That's
extremely elevated rate.
not good for anybody. That's not what you want.
And
Yeah,
it's-
he was telling, and he said it's every day like that.
It is. I mean,
I
he
was
tests.
shocked.
I talk to Ken a lot. He
Yeah.
tests every day.
I was just shocked to death when I heard that.
He was in a lot of the pictures.
Yeah, I seen him there. That's what reminded me of that.
Yeah, he's been involved with the group for quite a few years.
But there's a whole lot more creek banks and things to rebuild, that's for sure. Especially in some of the other communities like Caney Fork that got hit pretty hard with Helene.
Yeah, our newest board member, I believe, lives up Caney Fork, and I know that's something that he would like to work on.
All communities. We were blessed as far as we didn't get the worst part of it as far as other counties, but some of our communities got hit pretty hard. And
Yeah.
Caney Fork was one of them. I mean, I went up there the other day, and creek banks are gone. I mean,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank y'all.
Next up this evening, we have WNC Communities and Executive Director Jennifer Frere. Good evening.
Guess I'm last. The good thing, though, about being last is it always gives me a chance to hear everybody else that comes from me and what amazing work that's going on in Jackson County. We commend all those other organizations for all the good work they do. But thank you so much. I'm Jennifer Furry, and I've been here before, and I really always appreciate having the opportunity to come in and talk to y'all about what we do and how much we appreciate the support that we get from our county governments, because that is something that we've relied on for over 75 years. We're in our past 75 years now of working in Western North Carolina, and we're really proud that we've got support of our county, especially ones like Jackson County, where we do a lot of work with our community clubs and community centers. Our mission is to cultivate the vitality of our mountain communities rural. We're all about supporting our rural communities, and we're very proud to do that work. And like I said before, and I tell you this every year, we know that these community organizations, especially our community clubs and community centers, are the heart and backbone of our region. That became clear not only through COVID, but through Helene and the disasters we've had, those places. The buzzword right now is resilience hubs, and everybody wants to be a resilience hub. Well, these community clubs and community centers, they're the original resilience hubs that have been working in their communities for years. We have right now in our network, our Honors Network, which has over 80 communities in 20 counties in Western North Carolina. We've got about 7 or 8 active ones right here in Jackson County, which is a lot. And that's Caney Fork, which has been in our network for 60 years. Qualla, 21 years participating. Glenville, 34. Savannah, 24. Pumpkin Town's been there, and that doesn't even count the ones that are in the EBCI. That's Big Y, Beadtown, and Wolftown. So we've got a lot of communities, and in fact, our communities tell us every year what the most important thing that they need, and that's really what we believe is we don't tell communities what to do, they tell us what they need, and we help them find the resources that they need. And this year is Year of the Volunteer. These are all volunteer organizations, and they told us this year in their applications that's what they need. So, in fact, week after next at Qualla Community Center, we're going to be hosting the second of a 10 part series on volunteers. So we're going to have, I think, all of the community clubs in our network are going to be there. Plus, it's so popular, the word got out that I think there's even going to be community clubs coming from Buncombe, Cherokee County, and even further to come participate. So we're really proud and excited about that. Because our community centers really do rely on volunteers to deliver their services. So helping them be able to get more volunteers to come work and help them is just going to be better to equip them for being able to deliver those vital services that they do to their communities. So that's great. We're feeling really excited about helping those communities. As you know, the funding we get from you does make a difference because it allows us to be opportunity ready. It allows us to help with staff costs to make sure that when we have emergencies like Helene that came through, that we were able to help our community clubs and our community centers. We were able to help some of them with some of their damages. We were able to raise money. We helped farmers across the region with helping to stabilize their operations and get urgent needs after Helene. But we also do other programs like our Ag Options program that gives cost share grants to family farms throughout Western North Carolina. To date, that program has been going on since 2004, and we've given over 700 farm grants to $4 million throughout the region, with about 150,000 of that going to farmers right here in Jackson County. So again, thank you all for listening, and again, happy to come and tell you what we're doing and happy to answer any questions that you have. But our organization is committed to helping community development, help communities be strong. It's about the people. Keep people strong, communities will be strong. And that is what we have dedicated our work to for the last 75 years. So thank you for your support.
Any questions from the board?
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. I know, Jen, you might be new. I don't know if you've seen our book. Just wanted to make sure that y'all have a copy of this. The commissioners have a copy. Can I give it to you? It's kind of the history of WNC communities and our work in the region. It's got a really good lot of information in it, so I'll just make sure that y'all have a copy of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
We can take a quick break for 5 minutes.
That would be great. I was thinking that about 10 minutes ago.
I'm sorry, I know it's late. Just a quick
5 minutes.
5 minute break. All right, is there a motion to take a 5 minute break?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
this evening is discussions on the library, kind of formation and organization, and just open discussions about how we're going to proceed.
So myself and Grace are going to kind of tag team this piece of it. I'm going to start with the first three, which is some of the organizational pieces, and then she's going to talk a little bit about kind of what's been going on here recently. So we're going to first talk about the logo. So we've got a couple of designs. We kind of stole this one from the committee that did the complex. The group, the Friends of the Library, back in. This is the one we started with, and then we kind of redid it to kind of incorporate some of the county colors. So the next one is actually that one, and so this one is kind of the one we were recommending. Didn't know what everybody thought about it, and if you're all right with it, we can start with the signage. But it kind of incorporates what has historically been done, with the library system, and also kind of incorporates the new seal.
Go back to the other one.
I think for signage purposes, that one would be really hard. It's yeah.
And the clock's wrong.
The clock's wrong. It is wrong, isn't it? Or that one's wrong and that one's right.
Big hand has always been a
Well,
little.
no. I mean, that's the logo on everything.
Yeah.
So that one has the
It
correct.
has the correct logo.
Yeah.
correct logo. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
black-
no, the first one was just actually literally a copy of exactly what was done when they did the complex years ago. So we were just kind of emulating that. And the only thing we wanted to really include was the family piece. But after we look at that, there's just no way to add it. That's going to make it look it'll be too crowded. So this is the one I came up with.
I think it looks pretty
I
good.
like that one.
Okay. Perfect. The next one, we were talking about the establishment of a new board for the Jackson County Library. And, there's two pieces of this. One is actually the board makeup, how many people on the board, with the composition, where they're going to be appointed from, if it's one per district, if it's all at large, if it's one per municipality, however the board, chooses to do that, it's fine. We just need to kind of make some concrete plans looking for a vote on that specific piece. And then the other part of it is the actual authority of the board, whether you want them to be advisory in nature, whether you want them to do, certain tasks, like, book challenges or some of the budgetary stuff through a process. Just, kind of needing some direction at the end of the day. So those are the two tasks, I guess, where we need to talk and discuss tonight. I think Angie has a draft resolution, and it basically is one member appointed for each voting district, and then one at large would be consistent with the chair position at that point.
Is that how we do the rest? That is how we do the rest of most of the rest of the boards,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
There's other
some.
at-large people.
Right. And then also, you may want to consider adding like one Friends of the Library ex officio member from both Cashiers and Silva area, and then also you may want to consider if you wanted municipal representation as an ex officio as well. So those are the three. You may have like a 5-member voting, but then you may have additional folks that could bring in expertise within their areas to kind of make it cohesive. So.
I feel like I feel like we have to have one per district residing in that district. They should probably have a library card so that they know what's happening inside the libraries. But I do feel Silva's contributed in the past to the library, so I feel like they should have at least a seat at the table, and then definitely the Friends of groups, because they're contributing daily somebody from one of those groups is contributing daily. So they would be boots on the ground that are seeing what's really happening within the library as well. So. And they can be just members of the board, but non-voting. Really, there's not going to be a whole lot of voting because it's going to be administered from Grace's position. It'd be directive, basically, kind of like one of our other county boards. You know, Grace will bring them things that need to be addressed, and they'll make that decision as a board.
So as a kind of the planning board and
Like
things
planning councils, like every other board we have.
So I guess the directive on the empowering part, I mean, do you want the appeals of the book challenges to be heard by them? What other empowerment do you see?
That's the
I think we
main
probably
one.
need more than just 5 people, though. I mean, get one from each district. The at-large would go to the chairman, and then I guess 4 more to make it 9 people that could come from anywhere in the county.
So it's 4 at large. So it'll be 5 at large, 4, 1 per district, and then the ex officios will be the Friends of the Library, both Friends of the Library plus Silva, or no?
I think you get Silva involved. I mean, you could.
I definitely think, the Friends of the Library.
Yeah, definitely then.
I just have some reservations about municipalities, but
What if you gave 2 other at-large? So you have the 5 districts plus the chair, 2 members of the Friends of groups. That gives you 2 more to round it out. So
Might say that again. 5, 1 for
the
each.
5 of us, 1 from each Friends of the Library groups, 1 from Cashers, 1 from Silva, and then you'd have 2 additional at-larges to make a 9-person board.
if you get it too much larger than that, I think there'd be too much politics involved.
That, and they would all be voting members?
No, the
The
Friends
I
of the
mean,
Library would not be. It'd only be 7 voting.
They can be. I mean, there's nothing that says it can't be. So
I think once you get so many people involved, I mean, you want to have obviously the people that are day to day, Friends of the Library, and then of course board member appointed by each commissioner, I guess, or district. Obviously, that don't have to be from each commissioner. But if you get too many, it's a whole lot of opinion,
Yeah, it's gonna make life harder on them, probably, with 9.
I mean,
if we kept it at 7, I think that eliminates a couple of at-larges, but I would be fine with that.
the TDA, I know it's not anything comparison, but as far as their board, how many ex officio members do they have?
2, 3.
3. From Silva, was 1 from Silva?
The chamber.
That's what I thought. And then 1's a commissioner, correct?
From Board of Commissioners.
So you're gonna do the 5 and then the 2
2
at
for
large,
Silva.
and then the 2, one from Friends of the Library of each, right?
I think you do
Ex-officio.
the 2 Friends of the Libraries, and I mean, I'd really like to do the municipality, but I don't want to have, like you're saying, we get to 9, we're going to have.
I think the 7 is good. I mean,
I think the
Friends of
7
the Libraries do
And
a
the
lot of
7
the
have
work.
voting.
And that person from Silva could be from the municipality of Silva.
At large. So.
Yeah, or at large, yeah. But are you saying it would need to be, I guess, the Friends from Silva
We-
And then one from
you-
Cashers,
Right,
correct?
right. So the 7 would be all voting members. You'd have 5, per district, and then you'd have 2 at large, and then you'd have 2 ex officio.
Okay, so,
One from Silva FOL, and then one from Castle FOL.
so we'd have 7 voting, and then 2 at large, or 2 at,
This is up to what y'all want.
I'm,
So,
I'm just saying 5 from each district, well, 4 from each district, and at large, Board of Commissioners. 2, 1 from Cashers, 1 from Silva, Friends of Group, 7, all voting. And then we don't have the ex officio trying to find another person to fill that spot, like you're saying. If we wanted to put someone on from the town, we could do that because they fall within a district and a chair.
so
I think let's put down whatever we're talking about, and then let's give us some time to think and table it. But I would like to see it in writing so we can all kind of.
I think if we did the 5 and then 2 at large, and then ex officio the friends, the reason being, you may have one district that you got 3 great people to be on it from Todd's district,
Yeah.
and you only getting 1 there. So that's my opinion. You're handcuffing yourself to districts based on.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 at large would be ex officio.
No, the 2 friends would be ex officio, and the 2 at large would be voting members. That's what I think.
That's what I was thinking too, so.
I would like to be able to see it to where we have enough to where that the librarian will have, a safety net to fall on to where she's not run over.
Well, she's the director, so whatever books are brought will be
I'm not talking
ultimately
books, I'm just
decided.
talking in general.
Yeah, in general, whatever's brought will go before the board. She'll have to bring that to them. So, and then there's governmental stopgaps in between. So if she has a problem with someone like a patron or a policy, she's got Mr. King and legal to help guide her.
So you've got Friends of Library could be one of the at-large.
Correct.
Okay, so they could be an at-large
voting member.
voting member. And then they would have another voice as the ex officio also, you know what I'm saying? So it's not, you're not keeping them off of it. It's
Right.
just,
Kind of directing how we go. That's what you're
As far as that goes, they could all be, as long as they live in the districts, they could all be Friends of the Library. I mean, so for the 2 that are going on as friends, would that be like a recommendation from their group?
Yep.
That's how I imagine it
Kinda like
would to be, yeah.
with TDA.
I like 7.
7's the number I like too. It feels like a good
7
number.
voting, yeah.
Well, we'll craft it with the 5 for the commissioners, 2 at large, and then the 2 ex officio, which would make 7 voting, 9 total. Is that consensus? Okay, that's where we'll go there.
I think there's a slot in there too, as well as, what would constitute a quorum.
It would just be on the 7, so it would be, you'd have to have 4.
That's true.
If a quorum is not met by the members that are of the 5 and the 2 at large, could there be a clause where the tiebreaker could be a friends of person to come in and serve as a voting member in their absence?
Which one?
Not normally. Normally, if you state it's ex officio, they don't have voting rights at that point. But
Well, I mean, they can always go to the next meeting.
I was gonna say, if it's tie, it would just be
At the next meeting.
table.
well, you got 7, so it would.
But if it's a quorum would be 4.
Yeah.
That could
Oh,
be-
well, I see what you're saying.
Unless you say a quorum, you have to
Yeah.
have 5 for a quorum. You can say that 5 is quorum.
You could. We can go back through the bylaws, so that's establishment of that. And I know normally the boards would kind of work through that process, but, with this being a new established board, we can set criteria through that process. So
There definitely needs to be criteria, like Mark said. At least have a library card, and have some sort of knowledge, I would imagine, of.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is gonna be a little bit more directed from probably Grace in terms of who she wants to sit on the board as a librarian that's got to deal with this board and all boards that go forward, helping her make these decisions. So we may need a little bit more information from you in terms of what you feel is important from a board member.
Well, I think too that, well, I don't know. It's too late, no. Don't some of the departments, sometimes don't they recommend someone, the director recommends someone?
Like when, I know with planning especially, they're out there finding the qualified candidate. I mean, they reach out to us, obviously, if we have
Right.
somebody that we want to put on. But typically they will say,
Yeah.
hey, I was approached by this person. They're wanting to serve on the board. There's a vacancy in X number of years or months. So,
Do we let the director appoint the two at large?
I mean,
What-
there's
what
nothing
was
that
that
she
you
can
said?
do. I mean, I just, she can bring us a recommendation.
Yeah.
But the board will have to be set here.
Yeah, the board will have to be set here. I mean, if it's 90% like advisory in nature anyway, it's, there's not really a lot of the voting piece, except for if you have like administrative sort of stuff going on, if they need to back up the librarian on, say book challenge or whatever, that process, we'll have to put due process in all of that. So, that will really be the biggest time, other than, if they here in the community, really boards are established because they're a conduit to the patrons and to the citizens, just like y'all are. You're bringing in ideas. So if there's a particular type of program that's needed at the library, those are the type of people. That's why you want them to know what they're talking about with making sure they go to the library card, making sure that they're invested interest in, in the organization before you, put them in, because then that way they'll kind of know what the citizens are talking about. Like, hey, we need this program for this particular purpose, or this literacy program, or whatever.
A lot of
Yeah.
homeschool kids are not getting.
Exactly. That's what you're after. You're after that community input, and then we can make changes to develop the program based on that input.
So it's gonna be 7 and then 2.
So we'll write that up, and then we'll have it on the agenda for the 19th. Sorry. Is that all right? If that's consensus, then
That's good.
we'll kind of
I think
wrap it up.
there's consensus. I mean, Jenny, do you want to push it, or do you want to? Because that'll move it to June for
Yeah, I
us to
wanna
have
push
open
it.
consent,
I want
open
to
talk.
push it. I don't want to move it.
You want to see in the next meeting, see the draft, and then we can talk about it in our next work session.
Or can we talk about it at our next meeting and then vote on it in the first meeting of May?
May, yeah, we can do that. If is that achievable?
I mean, is there?
Okay.
I mean, once you get the draft written up, you can send it out to all of us anyway.
Yeah, you've got a draft already. It's just
Right,
it'd be
but
just
once you get the new
consensus.
draft with all
Yeah.
the language in it, you can send it out. I mean, we should be able to, look at it and have any discussion and vote on it first.
But that'll be fine.
Obviously, we'd hopefully want to start getting applicants pretty.
Yeah, we're
We got one.
Yeah.
Mr. Greer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. He come early on.
That's right.
Go get her.
The final thing is, for me anyway, is the building utilization policy. So at this point, we've directed both staffs to book library events. They can book, all through the year, next year, for specific library activities, and also book for any organization that currently is in the Silva location. They can also utilize the community rooms in the boardroom. So that's what we've done up to this point. Now, it has been traditionally used for community and rented out facilities, but both locations. A little bit different, and this room up here is a lot bigger. It's more for a stage area. We do have that room off to the side that is the boardroom. So anyway, we're just needing direction from that standpoint about, are we going to allow citizens to use it, or is it just going to be for the library complex, which I think we've established everybody's fine with, as long as it's library activity, it's no problem, or an organization within the building, that's no problem. Same thing for the cashier's location at the same time. So anyway, we're just kind of needing direction from that standpoint as for developing policy for utilization of the facilities and kind of moving forward for there.
Or if they're going to be rented out or not to someone else.
That's correct. That's correct.
Well,
Just the library use and the people within the building.
Yeah, 'cause we don't want to cut off the library from utilizing those rooms.
That would be my preference as well, just the library.
I think it's going to be something that we have to look at, because there are 48 different organizations that use just the Albert Carlton Library in that one room. I'm sure that if the Silva Library put together a list like they did, it would probably be somewhere along that line. So we need to be thinking beyond just July 1 of what we're going to do, plus weddings, plus all the other things, and what you can and can't use that room there for. I know I was contacted last week about a joint Republican executive board meeting, and that would have been something that could have been used for. Phil Mike Clampency, stuff like that. So I do feel like we should keep it open, just in those terms. So that's something we're
They
going.
can also use the rooms up there in Cashers that are out there at the Brixton. Those are available. But, the rec center rooms down the hall to the left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got a few rooms there.
If we're going to do that, then let's just close all the rooms. I mean, there's AA, there's NA, there's everybody under the sun, and Cashers uses the library's room. I don't think we can get 48 different groups scheduled with the rec department schedule in that one room. I just don't see it. I mean, there's multiple days AA meets in Cashers, so 5 days a week. I think you're cutting off vital spot.
I will say, after talking, and we did go up and talk to the Friends of the Library, and we had a lot of folks in the room talking about the utilization of that room, and it kind of reminded me of a community center, which I think that is acting as the community center for the Cashers area, versus here there's maybe a lot more opportunity for utilization of other places, and so it is a little bit different up there from that standpoint, because there's so many diverse groups that have used that facility, and most you can see on there's a lot of like realtors have used it, and all kinds of just different people, and so anyway, we're just kind of needing direction. Didn't want y'all to make a decision tonight, but will need to have something, hopefully by the 1st of May, where we can kind of develop policy and move forward with whatever we're going to be doing. So. And I'm gonna turn it over to Grace. She's gonna tell you kind of what we're going to kind of tag team
Yeah.
about what we've been talking about. So.
So thanks for letting me come speak, and I'm excited to share some updates with everybody. So most of the library staff has signed saying they're going to stay and continue to work, so that's a great thing. Like Kevin said, we got to meet with the staff at Silva Library last week and got to talk with them about the transition and answer some of their questions. Obviously, they have a lot of those. I've been talking to the staff at Cashers Library, and I'm going to go up next week to get to meet them, just some of them, the top people were out of town when I was able to go last week. And like Kevin said, we've had great meetings with both Silva and Cashers, friends of the library, and I thought those went really well, and I'm excited to get to partner with them as we move forward. We've been approved for state aid funding for the 2026-2027 year and have submitted a strategic plan as well. We've also been approved for NC Cardinal and are working with the NC Cardinal team so we can continue to share resources with libraries across the state. And I've been working to contact all the vendors that the library currently works with so we can continue to offer all of the amazing services the library already provides, like Libby, Canopy, Universal Class, just to name a few of those things. So that's what I've been doing, and great so far, I think. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
You have some other business you wanna?
Yeah, I think there's some stuff we need to look into. There's two things, and, we can talk about it, but I really think I get a lot of calls on wanting to have things more transparent within where the planning and, not planning, but the permit, office got their new program. I think we need to update our program to where it's more transparent for different departments, and there's some of these, I just printed some of these out, but some of these are even, transparent to where the actual public can look at dashboards and see what goes on within the county's finances and all of that. And the other thing that I think we need to think about is the threshold of what within the county can be spent, because other counties like Swain County is like a $35,000 threshold, and I think ours is 700,000, 300,000.
Different projects. There's a limit on equipment, and then on different types of projects.
Okay, do you have a list of those? Okay. Well, maybe if we could get that list, then we could look at that, but I think we need to look at some of that, because I get a lot of calls on that where ours is just way above what other counties are. Even big ones like Cherokee, Asheville, all that. And then, you know, upgrading our thing, I think it's, what year's our program? 1970? What year is it?
Well, it's been,
What year is the actual program from? Like this, wasn't it the 70s?
it was the 80s, but it's been upgraded several times. Different.
But it still is not very, like, a department can't go and look where they're at within their budget, correct?
Some departments can.
Something, I don't know, I just had a ton of complaints because they wanna be able to go in and look and see where they're at instead of having to wait and get a report. So I just think upgrading it, cause I know it really helped out the permitting office. It made their life a lot easier. And they cut out a lot of phone calls by just being able to, people to go online and fill out permits, and then being able to hook in with the GIS map, they knew out where they were going.
That's made a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean,
I can tell you that.
The program we have may work, but it's kind of like, you know, our rabbit ear TVs work too, but we got rid of them.
I just don't know. I guess my question is, I mean, I see where you come from, definitely. But how does that for the end user? I mean, is this going to be they're paying their tax bill online easier, or is this seeing where the money's going easier? Because there's only so much input you can give somebody. There's a lot more user end for permitting than there is for auto vehicle taxes, you know, and where that money goes. Or, I mean, there's not a, do we take fees online for Parks and Rec? So, I mean, that may be where you see the benefit. I just don't know. So I think, you know, that would be something we would have to ask.
Well,
What
there's
the
no other
system, what the
county
end game
anywhere
is.
around that has not upgraded their program.
Oh, I know. But it's just, what do we want to spend and what are the goals?
So going back a little bit to the purchasing thing, I can tell you all of the thresholds are exactly the same. Everybody goes by this general statutes, and Swain did go by the general statutes. The same thresholds are there that we have, and it's anything 30,000 or less. You get 3 independent quotes, and we have a policy. And one of the statements in the policy is we do try to find local vendors. And so that's one of the criteria. We ask all local vendors if they meet a certain criteria to vote, as long as they're responsible, to put in a bid, basically.
Right.
So that's called an informal bid process, just getting 3 quotes. And then you go up different thresholds. Equipment is 90,000 or less. Then you get into construction projects, and 99% of the time with construction projects, we rely on third-party vendors like our engineers or architects, and we do like a sealed bid process. So even if it goes up, even Department of Aging was the prime example. That one probably could have qualified for us to just get three quotes, and we kind of negotiated it out. We went through a process where we had sealed bids, and so we try to keep it as fair as possible. But at the end of the day, we still have to go by the lowest responsible bidder, no matter if they're from here or if they're from New York City. It doesn't matter. By law, we have to go with the lowest responsible bidder that has the same specs on a job that we have. So we do try to be as consistent as possible, but we are cognizant of the fact that we are trying to find local people. The more local we are, the better off it's going to be from our economy standpoint. But law is the law, which there is a different purchasing law, and we have to go by with the lowest bidder. So there are certain organizations that, that we have tried to work with, like, for example, if we have an HVAC system go out, well, we may have to get them. I mean, it may be a more of immediate need. We don't have time to get 3 quotes, but it's only less than 15,000, or you see what I'm saying? So there's different parameters. We have a purchasing policy that kind of lays all of that out, and we'll get you a copy of it. We can look at it. But as far as the accounting system, a lot of the times, yeah, I understand. And with the accounting system, there's 2 or 3 different ways. When you're looking at putting it out, it's more putting it on a website, or a website type of a thing. When you look at an accounting system, it's like a balance sheet, an income statement. I mean, all the different stuff. It's kind of hard to put that out to the public to let them understand. If you're on a cash basis or a modified accrual basis, it just depends on what kind of accounting you're looking at. You got to get it where the end user can use it. You know what I'm saying? Not an accountant. So I think in like other counties, I think we'd mentioned it, like with Buncombe County, for instance, they actually hire 1 to 2 people just to make that happen, to put that out there. So I don't think any of us are opposed to any of it. It's just looking at the resources and trying to figure it out. So. We can look at it. Yeah.
So how much did you say the number was that you didn't have to get bids, or it's just different for everything?
We have to get quotes for everything. So, but quotes are 30,000 or less. You just have to get 3 quotes, and we always look for private people. But the majority of our quote, we have a lot of in-house stuff happening. So it's not like necessarily like service contracts. Like, we don't hire hardly any labor. We may buy product, but we look a lot with state contracting. So with state contracting, there is no bid process. You just go to, if there's a state contract, that's the lowest bid you can get. So we don't have to do any of the stuff. So we do a lot on state contract, like all the vehicles are state contract. There's a lot of them. And so that makes it easy. But then you get into like a service contract, like I don't know, landscaping or whatever. We will try to find a local person to do it, give us a bid, you know, and then whoever the lowest bid is on the three, we try to at least get 3 qualified bidders. And then that's the process. On equipment, like I say, it's $90,000. But we'll give you our copy of exactly what we do. So.
Well, with no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Absolutely.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? None opposed?
Public, second.